What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Saturday Hoop Podcast. Your boy Shimi Dub. Today, I've been hitting y'all in the head with guest after guest, and we just been getting better and better. Today, we got the one and only retired Sergeant Major Barry Bull. He's here. He's about to give us some good knowledge, some good motivation. Very a mentor to I don't know not one Marine, one active duty service member that this Marine right here wasn't their mentor or isn't someone they look up to. So he's going to give us some good motivation and teach us how to remain above average in society after retirement. He's not a Marine anymore. He doesn't have the push of an organization. He's not grinding for an organization. He's literally grinding for himself. No bull. Like that. For real. So Barry, Sergeant Major, it's good to have you. Appreciate you coming through to the Saturday Hoop Podcast. I just would like you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little about you, where you from, and how that has built you up to be who you are today, past the organization, past the military. Like, how has your upbringing shaped you to be the bull you are right now in life?
Yeah, for sure. So, as you said, my name's Barry, and I was born in 1980. All right. So, wow, he made a face right there. His eyebrows got really high right there. Okay, like what's his name?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. So, damn.
Damn.
1980. I was born in Flemington, New Jersey.
Okay.
All right. So that's where all my Italian roots come from and everything else
sir.
like that. We moved out here to California when I was very young to the Central Valley. And that's where I grew up. I spent most of my time there. In and around the 805, Bakersfield, California, things like that. So that's where I enlisted from. I graduated high school in 1998 from Paso Robles High School in Paso Robles, California.
Right.
Shout out to all my 805ers up there. And yeah, I think a gallon of gas was about $1.16 on average in the country. That was the year Google was invented. Damn. The biggest the biggest scandal in the country was Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky.
Wow.
Okay, the number one song was Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls.
Okay.
Number one movie was the Titanic.
Oh man.
Okay, yeah.
I can remember the
And if you wanted a movie, you had to go to Blockbuster, so you had to be kind
right.
and rewind.
Mm-hmm. I remember the Bill Clinton scandal because I didn't understand what was going on because I was so young.
Well, he didn't do anything. That's what he said.
Right.
So he didn't have to worry about it. So, yeah.
Right.
So I grew up over there, and man, definitely.
Mom and dad, or
No. So my dad he was in and out of prison, and really was not present in my life until I was about 15 years old, 16 years old. Mm-hmm. And it was one of them situations where, man, it was, I don't want to get emotional, but it was tough, man. I remember one thing that he always told us was, if people give you respect, if they don't give it to you, you take it. Mm. You don't ask them.
Right.
I remember one time these guys chased my brother home from school or whatever. I was real young.
Right.
And my dad was sitting there on the porch, right? 5 guys chased him. And he runs up to my dad and he's like, "Dad, these guys are gonna jump me. They're gonna kick my butt, right?"
Right.
And my dad's like, "Okay." So then the 5 guys finally catch up, right? And this is my dad, and he goes, "What are you guys here for?" And they tell him. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "If you want to fight my son, you can fight him one at a time. Mm-hmm. Or you can leave." They fought him one at a time. And one at a time, my brother, he just was clocking. He knocked these guys out.
Right.
5.
Right.
5.
How old was your brother at the time?
Oh, I think he might have been, 16, 17.
Okay.
So they're bigger kids.
You think he had that mindset of, I gotta win?
I know he did. Because my dad, if you lost a fight and my dad found out about it, mm-hmm. like you didn't want to tell my dad you got in a fight. Because if you lost a fight and my dad found out, you were getting in the car and you were going to go to that kid's house so you could fight him again. Mm. I don't know if you ever lost a fight, but if you ever lost one, you ain't trying to fight the
It
guy
was
again.
it was similar. Not that I lost, but it was if you go outside and you get into a fight and you get your ass whipped. It's my mom. You get your ass whipped. You gonna come up here. You gonna get your ass whipped again. So you're not gonna
Yeah,
go out there and lose. So,
exactly.
and I'm more afraid of my mom
Amen.
than
Amen. Yes,
whoever is trying to kick my ass
that's
outside.
right. That's right.
So definitely.
Oh, I met my mom too. Yeah, she was a little, Italian lady. She had like 5 rings on each finger.
Mm,
You
that
caught the
old
back of
school.
that hand. Oh
That's
my
old
gosh.
school.
Yeah, so that was my dad, and I don't know.
How's your
I
relationship
don't
with your
want
dad
to.
today?
He passed away years
I'm
ago.
sorry to hear.
No, that yeah,
Yeah.
it's life, and
Hmm.
um, I don't want to say I wish that he would have been a better dad, or I wish he was the dad I needed him to be, and the reason is because it's made me the man that I'm proud of
Amen.
today.
Right.
And I felt that way for a long time,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, I can remember being homeless. I can remember, my dad leaving me stranded. I remember my dad's house getting raided. We were coming back from the corner store right there
Right.
through the little back alley,
Hmm.
and right around the time my dad's getting caught up in some stuff, and you know, um, so me and my brothers and all of our friends, we basically followed in the same footsteps. The first time I caught some charges, I was 13 years old.
Right.
I had already been getting tattooed
Hmm.
from some Southsiders, and you know I don't know. I didn't look up to my dad like I want to be like him, but it
Right.
just seemed like what we were all getting into.
Right. It
Um,
was what you were familiar with.
yeah,
That was the example you had by the, well, I'm guessing only male figure,
yeah,
and then your neighborhood. Maybe that's what the rest of the male figures look like.
yeah. So we committed a lot of crimes and we made a lot of money, and I don't know. I think for me, I always knew that just wasn't gonna last.
Right.
It wasn't gonna last. There's too much drama. Nobody that does stuff like that makes it too far.
Right.
They
Right.
don't live that long,
Hmm.
or they do, and they go to jail, they go to prison, whatever the case is. And so, um,
So you always had that thought in back of your mind to like while you were doing what you were doing, while you were in the environment you were in, it was always like, this is not it for me.
yeah,
I want to do something else or go somewhere else with my life. Like,
yeah.
do you think that's a thought that might have tweaked, and what tweaked that thought? What made you, was there a certain situation? Usually it's like a life or death situation, or you get off for jail time or join the Marine.
Yeah. Well, so when I first, kind of got into things, I remember that's where I learned about deadlines. That's where I learned about accountability. That's where I learned about payday advances.
Right.
And we would go and see this guy, and he would basically assign us work, and we had to return in a certain amount of time with a certain amount of money.
Right.
And obviously you make your own profit, whatever the case is. And that was intense for me because I remember feeling that as a teenager, like you know, this is real.
Right.
This is not a game.
Right.
And anyhow, so going through the years and people getting in trouble and people getting hurt and hurting people. Um, one thing that really opened my eyes was somebody that I care about who's no longer here. To this day, really. I was 16 years old, and it basically was over drugs and money.
Hmm.
And you know, I made some very serious threats, um, and that was a wake up call for me because it scared them and their family members
Right.
and all this stuff. And um, so I actually never really thought about it. I remember filling out the recruiter card when I was in high school. There was like some like job fair day.
Right.
So I filled out the recruiter card, didn't think nothing of it. I
Hmm.
remember my brother, my oldest brother, he had joined the army,
Hmm.
And that just seemed like the natural thing to do. I never even heard about the Marine Corps.
Right.
Um, and but that life of like discipline and stuff was always like attractive to me, of structure and family. So when I'd kind of like started to break away from things, and I had kind of made my decision to do something different.
Right.
And you know, I remember two incidents. One was before I talked to the Marine Corps recruiter, and we were out one day, and basically, somebody that I had kind of trained up uh, conducted business in a way that I didn't train him how to do it.
Right.
And I was present at the time, which resulted in me being arrested. I was 17,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I was trying to fight the cops. There was
Mm-hmm.
like three police officers.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they put me in the back of a paddy wagon, and I didn't have anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was probably the first time legitimately in my life I was telling the truth.
Right.
And you know, so I ended up not going to jail that night. There was no evidence on me as far as anything like that goes. And I didn't rat on anybody. I didn't say anything. I just said, I have no knowledge of anything. I was
Right.
just basically here.
Right.
And that was a serious situation because of the threats and the altercations I had made with the police officers, and it was ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one was after I had talked to the recruiter and decided to join
Mm-hmm.
somebody who I look up to this day. Basically, you know, required that I be present for a transaction,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 18 at the time, and there was a lot of product, and I was thinking to myself like, yeah, I remember we were in his 1969 Galaxy, Ford Galaxy,
Yeah.
and there was a taillight out.
Right.
And I'm thinking about that stuff, man. And I'm
Right.
like, this is crazy,
Right. Right.
And
The awareness was different.
I made it clear that night, I'm never doing this again. Don't ask me, I'm not doing it again. I'll
Right.
take whatever consequences I got to take, but I'm not doing this anymore.
Right.
And you know, because I always knew that I wanted to be. One thing that always gets me in the heart is I felt like until I earned the title Marine, I never gave my parents a reason to be proud of me.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to hold it together, man, but it's like both my parents have been gone for years, and I think about that because, yeah,
Yeah.
it just,
Feel you on that.
I think maybe I was like a wild card to my parents,
Yeah.
and they didn't know what I was gonna end up being, but I went all the way in on the Marine Corps, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's me. I'm 43 years old. You know,
Young.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, see, he's trying to
See,
buy it back.
I didn't hit
He's
you
trying to
with
buy it back,
that.
everybody. Yeah,
Young.
so it's
So you had that your mindset. It seemed like your mindset shifted, and then when you got the Marine Corps in your sights, and it was something that you wanted to do, and then your parents were a factor in you wanting to be more for yourself, right?
absolutely, yeah. I
Pretty
mean,
dope.
I don't know. I guess I can never really relate to people who go, I don't care what anybody else thinks, because like I
Right.
just feel like I do care what people think. I don't lose sleep over it to like an unhealthy degree,
Right.
but like I do,
Right.
and I wanted my parents to be proud of me. I always used to tell people it's like life's about memories, man. It's about memories. That's why we take pictures of them. We take videos. If I think of the most special memory in my life and I remove the people I love from it,
Right.
I'm not gonna say it doesn't mean anything, but man, there's so much of that sweetness would just be like taken away.
Right. Right.
So like,
It's like the sugar on top, you know.
yeah, like
Indeed.
I think about that. My mom, she passed away so many years ago. She didn't meet any of my kids,
Mm.
you know.
Right. And then she has so much value to you, and she didn't get to meet the the little people that she helped.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
interesting concept, and I agree because I told my mom just probably about 2 months ago. I told her, I know it doesn't matter. I know the only thing that matters to you is that I go off and I be great and I just do the things that I love in my life.
Yeah.
But if I don't get to a point in my career, my jobs, or whatever I'm doing, if I don't get to a point where I'm able to buy my mom a big house on a hill, her dream home where she can sit back and know that everything came full circle in a great way for her, then I failed in
Yeah.
some way. And I tell her that, and she doesn't care about the house. She just cares about me being healthy, happy, smart in my decisions, and just doing a little bit better than she did. But I feel like we owe it. We owe it to them. They sacrificed.
You feel like you have like that provider's heart.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed, indeed. And I
Like
like
you want to repay your mom maybe for some of the things.
right, right. Like me having kids now. I don't want my kids to repay me for anything.
No.
If they choose to do that, that's fine. But I see the work and the effort that she put in to me.
When were your eyes open to that? Like when you became a parent, or was it you just kind of always knew?
I think I've always wanted it. See, so me and my mom didn't always have a great relationship. So our
Okay.
relationship struggled for a while. So it was just like, for lack of better terms, like fuck it, it's never gonna happen.
Wow.
As our relationship improved, and as I improved as a man and a human being, those feelings grew more inside of me, and it just
Hmm.
became another. You gotta have pillars. You gotta have your whys, right?
Yeah.
And it just became another one of my whys.
Sure.
So as your parents were one of your whys to put yourself on the right path, on the path that is intended for you, that was intended for you, because it's intended for us to be here right now, right? So everything we've done in our lives has got us right into this moment here. So,
I'll tell you, it's scary though being a parent
indeed.
because I feel myself already feeling that like that fear for my kids.
Hmm.
Even though I've done my absolute best,
Right.
and one of them is out of the house, the other three are not quite yet.
Hmm.
But like I feel that fear, when I think about myself, I think like we all got choices.
Right.
And it's like everybody I don't know. To me, I hear too many people out there that are victims.
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
I always tell people like this. I don't care how uphill your battle was. You know why? Because your bank account doesn't care.
Hmm.
You might have grown up in the inner city over here and had this obstacle and that obstacle and everything else, and maybe it was 10 times harder than mine.
Hmm.
And I appreciate you, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate your situation, but your bank account doesn't care. Your success doesn't care. Your health definitely doesn't care.
Hmm.
It does not care. So, and at a certain point, when do we stop letting certain things like that define us?
Right.
It's like, I know it's October 1st, but we just went through like Suicide Prevention Month.
Right.
One thing that we talk about all the time is suicide prevention, depression, right? The Marine Corps is self-reportedly the most depressed branch.
Hmm.
Okay, well, what I get frustrated with is we don't talk about how to deal with that.
Right.
And people, some of them, not all of them, they make these things such a big piece of their identity.
Hmm.
Hi, my name's Barry and I'm depressed. It's like,
Hmm. You
your depression doesn't define you.
right. Right. The words have meaning. Like people talk about manifestation, right? Like speaking things into existence. So I had put out like a little clip on my Instagram a couple of months ago, and I talked about giving words power.
Yeah,
Like I don't like the word can't. Not that I don't allow my kids to say it, but I tell them don't say can't,
yeah,
because you give it power when you say I can't. I can. I will find a way. I will learn how to speak it into existence, right? So there's a Saturday Night Live skit. Keenan from Keenan and Kel.
yeah.
He's acting like a Big Papi, a Dominican baseball player, and he's like, "You have depression? Well, don't."
Yeah,
And it's hilarious, but it's true.
yeah,
You're depressed? Don't be. Tell
yeah,
yourself. right? I was just telling my wife the other day. I was like, um, we do a great job. People do a great job at being on a high horse in a great mood, and then something will happen and they'll bring themselves right down. But we do a terrible job at being down and bring ourselves up.
Yeah. Well, what I say is this: exchange your expectations for appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
Where there is genuine appreciation and gratitude, those negative emotions cannot exist. That's not to say that like you can just snap your fingers and not be depressed.
Right.
But if you are truly, because when you're depressed, what really are you? There's something you want that you don't have.
Right.
There's something that happened you wish didn't,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a bunch of other things that go with it. And
Right.
like that's a part of life. We all go through that, but your emotions are just like your muscles. And the more you exercise those positive ones, the more you exercise those negative ones. And we can recognize them, we can pinpoint them,
Yes, sir.
we can control our thought life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like I said, we there's too many people I see them. They have exchange your expectations for appreciation, and they make that depression a centerpiece of who
They
they
attach it to
are.
themselves. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why do you not like the word can't? To me, why are you putting limitations on yourself, dog?
Right.
Who else is putting that on you? You are.
Mm-hmm.
I can't make that money. I can't have that job. I can't get that promotion. Like, who said that?
Right.
Just you,
Right.
right? You know what I mean? And
It's the
it's like,
voice in your head. That voice is powerful if you listen to it.
well, hey, I'll put those people onto the law of attraction,
Mm-hmm.
right? The law of attraction. Make yourself a vision board.
Mm-hmm.
Envision where you want to be, right? Envision making that money. Envision that dream home. Go tour that house.
Right.
Go drive through that neighborhood with you and your wife. Really imagine every day and attract those things to you and
Right.
believe in yourself
Mm-hmm.
and give it your best shot.
Right.
I don't know, but that's my thing on like depression and just life is always going to be hard.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it was like being in the military.
Mm-hmm.
I see too many people that when things don't go how they think it should go,
Mm-hmm.
they want to take their ball and go home.
They want to quit. They want to.
Maybe there's value in that a lot of times, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Make your decision for the right reasons. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But life is never going to go how you think it should. Life is never going to turn out how you think it should.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just like you and I were talking earlier, God is going to tell you right from wrong. He's never going to tell you right from left.
Right.
He never will.
Right.
But what he does say is, I'm going to be there with you every step of the way. You got to make the decision with the information that you have.
Indeed.
You can't just sit there. Because, like, how much faith would you have in one of your leaders in the military if they never knew the answer? Hey, should we go left or right? And they're like,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if we should close down that part of the office or open this part. You'd be
Right.
like, you're either incompetent or you have no confidence.
Right.
Either way, I don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, what I tell people is this, man, your self doubt is not married to your decisiveness.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I made a decision and I doubted myself.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't show people that all the time. You're the leader of your house.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be walking in here all the time, trembling like a leaf, acting like you don't know what trend is up? Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so scared. No, because you'll scare everybody else.
Right.
Your kids are looking at you. Dad, you're strong.
Mm-hmm.
Be strong.
Mm-hmm.
Inside, though, sometimes what do we struggle with? Strength.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Retired. You could just be sitting back, sitting on your porch, maybe having a brewski or water, um, reading a book, um, watching a pot. You could be sitting back, collecting your retirement check,
Yeah.
maybe some medical benefits. You could be sitting back, chilling, and I would call that the average life of a retiree.
Yeah.
What keeps you performing above average? Like you still out, you still have your own business, right? Aside from being a father, significant other, aside from doing all the things that you do, but you still out there, you're hitting the gym, you're staying young, staying sharp and fit. What keeps you in an above average mindset? Because Saturday Who was about being above average, right?
Yeah.
And usually the big thing to me is like you're not going out every weekend wasting your money in the clubs and then going doing your 9 to 5, You no longer have the 9 to 5 anymore because you retired. You hit that threshold. Great. But what keeps you above average? What can you give to the people that are out there that are trying to get to where you at? Maybe in 15, 20 years of in their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think, in order to, like I said, in order to maintain your purpose, you have to be focused on growth and progress.
Yes, sir.
That's number one.
Mhm.
I got a lot of people that look up to me. I got a lot of people that depend on me. And I was told a very long time ago in the United States Marine Corps, the best example is leadership by example.
Indeed.
That's it. Right? You can sit there and your kids are they're not gonna do what you say, but they will do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for me, once you take your foot off the gas and you lose sight of that growth and that progress, and for me, it all starts with fitness. It is all centered around
Yes,
fitness.
sir.
That is my practice field for life. I go in there. I was in there today. I was really short on time, right? I wanted to make it down here. I
Mm-hmm.
went in there. I kept the lights weight. I'm talking the intensity was high. And I was like, I could puke. I could pass out in here. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I love that rush, man.
Mm-hmm.
The freaking, can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. Like the reps, the sets, it's hot. I'm sweating. I'm out of breath. I want to leave. I want to freaking jump in an ice freaking bath because I'm like overheating,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel alive.
Yes, sir.
I'm testing myself. When I test myself and I'm doing something that's a little bit scary, my confidence is going up.
Yep.
See, I didn't know if I could do it, but I did it.
Yes, sir.
I leave the gym, I feel accomplished. That's my practice field for life. When you want to level up, your bank account, your mind is never going to match. You have to take that leap. And it is going to be scary. And you got to do what you've been doing, what I've been doing, which is figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit back and say, oh, I can't. One of the most fulfilling things in my life is seeing people be better versions of themselves. It is the
Indeed.
gift that
Amen.
keeps on giving,
Yes, sir.
right? And I learned that at a really young age. The Marine Corps just, I'm talking magnified it 1 billion times.
Right.
It's like it showed me, you know, how important it is for someone to believe in you.
Indeed.
How many times have you come across somebody, anybody, your kids, a Marine, a friend, your spouse, they don't believe in themselves. You believe in them,
Right.
right? It's like I was doing some shooting the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and ran into one of my old friends, Anthony Glenn, for a podcast.
Okay. I know
And
Glenn is.
yeah, and he brought up how important it is to have a great woman behind you, beside you, in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to say, right? And he used the analogy of the queen is the most dangerous piece on the chessboard,
Mm-hmm.
and he's right.
She's an essential part of protecting that king.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I used a much more childish example. The movie The Lion King. Look at Simba was the prince. He
Right.
was ultimately the king.
Right.
But who did he need to push him? Nala.
Nala.
Nala came and found him by accident in the jungle,
Mm-hmm.
and she pumped him up and said, "You're the king.
Yep.
We need
We
you.
need you to come back.
You can do it."
She spoke life into him.
And what did he do? He went back. He had to fight,
Mm-hmm.
and he took the kingdom back. So we need people to believe in us. When we have people that get in trouble, whether I was a civilian seeing people come out of jail or whatever the case is, even my brothers in the juvenile in the California Youth Authority system,
Mm-hmm.
right? What about when a Marine gets in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
We need to believe in them. Your mistakes don't define you.
They don't.
You can look. this is how you're gonna get back on your feet. I believe in you, dog. You just got to do it. Okay. I know it's hard. Yes, I got it. But you took your medicine. You owned it. You took accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I believe in you. I can see you don't believe in yourself. That's okay. I'm gonna help you. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps the fire lit. I deal with people every single day that confidence is down.
Mm-hmm.
And I speak life into them. I can already see it. I can see you with that weight loss. I can see you with that muscle tone. I can see you get that promotion. I can see that job. You got this.
Mm-hmm.
Put your best foot forward. And when it all shakes out, you need to be able to look back and say, I gave it everything I had leading up, right? Because we don't win on the day of the competition.
We don't.
When do we win? We win every day leading up to that when we're preparing ourselves. And that preparation builds confidence, and that confidence builds momentum, and we go in there and we hit home runs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps me going.
You just reminded me of something when you said every day we win every day, and that brought me back to an interview I was watching the other day, and it had Drake on it, and he talked about how his uncle reminded him. It was about 10 years ago probably, and his uncle reminded him to enjoy the journey. You have to enjoy the journey. A little sidebar, but like you have to enjoy the journey. Every day you are winning if you're working towards dot 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 whatever it is, right? And if you get up and you keep going, I often say complacency kills, consistency creates.
Yeah.
If you're waking up every morning and you're going and you're going and you're hitting it, and it's not just like I said, Saturday who's about just deviating from that 9 to 5, but even
Yeah.
if you're just doing your 9 to 5 and you're trying to be the best Marine, the best sailor, the best Walmart manager. It don't matter what you do.
Yeah.
You're trying to be the best at what your craft, and you're waking up every morning and you're improving every morning and you don't take losses, you take lessons. Everything that you consider as a loss is a lesson for you to do something different the next day. So enjoy that
That's
journey.
powerful.
I enjoy that journey. I enjoy this, right? Just setting up for you to come here. I'm just like, this is. I was getting nervous. My heart starting to beat fast, but
Well, because I'm first battalion, right? And you're like, oh no, right? It's like, oh, what do I do?
I don't want to go down that road. But if I had to say the first, not the first time now.
Oh, whoa. Wow, guys, let's turn it. This means turn it up. Turn it up all the way like a
Somebody gonna be mad
hi-fi
at me for saying that,
stereo.
but
Okay,
first
geez,
time
guys.
back then, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
but no, it's just like this is our journey, and we're here, and we're two uh influencers, right? And I'm sure, you know, the things I've been through, I could have had excuses to stop me. The things you've been through, you could have had excuses to stop you, but like we're here.
yeah.
We're here. And I was making a little skip before this, and I was just like, our job, not just to service members, not just to sharpen steel the service members, but our country, just people in our country, period. Our job is each one teach one,
Yeah.
right? What you do is a pivotal could be a pivotal step in someone else's lives. Like what you do, training people, motivating people, it changes their lives. But their lives can change, and then they change someone, and
I
if
can't tell you
anything,
how
they
many
just
times I've had somebody come to me and remind me of something I said that I completely forgot. And it was like super impactful for
I
them.
was like, I said that.
Well, and I had one Marine, he was like, I just wanted to thank you. I just got selected for first sergeant, and you're the reason I put F on my fitness report because of one conversation that you had with
Right.
two of my Marines. And he was like a sergeant or something, a corporal getting ready to pick up. And he brought in two Marines over some trouble. And he said the way you handled it was just you treated us like adults.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fair, it was balanced, and just it was a conversation,
Right.
you know. And he said, I never forgot that. So yeah, it's like sometimes we just that's why I tell people as a leader, you always make time. Because you don't realize all the time how much courage it took for that person to even walk up to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to like come in your office, whatever it is. And I'm not saying you got to like play patty cake with them,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I just believe in accountability. I believe in
Yes, sir.
encouragement.
Amen.
Um, you call balls and strikes. You know, and it's like you and I were talking on the phone. Be good at being you.
Right.
Because 99% of people on this planet are not good at being themselves. They're just not.
Right.
You know why? Because they don't even do what they say they're going to do.
Right.
They don't keep their word with themselves.
Not a man or woman of their word.
And they either don't do that, or they don't even make the commitment, because deep down, even though they go on Instagram and say, I'm so valuable and I know who I am and I know my worth,
Yes, sir.
right? Those are the people that walk around saying, you got to match my vibe and you got to earn my respect. And it's like, I decide who I'm going to be. I'm not handing you the freaking keys to my respect, my emotions. And respect is an amazing thing. I give it when I want to give it. And I decided that I'm going to give it to you. You don't have to earn it before I walk out my door.
Right.
You know?
Right.
If I walk out my door, I'm going to match your. I'm not a chameleon.
Right.
I'm not changing for you. I know who I am.
Right.
You might not know who you are. That's, hey, brother, sister, that's on you.
Right.
I'm going to be who I decide to be. You don't get to decide who I get to be.
Right.
And that's how I've always lived my life. That's why I stayed in the military. Because I was that weirdo walking around like, man, this is pretty good to go. Like, I got food, I got money, I got a roof over my head. Like, my parents are proud of me. I got this uniform. Like, I still remember my senior drill instructor. He told me, you know, Lima Company, hoorah, 3009, you know, Building 584, Squad Bay D1, what's up? You know what I mean? But some of y'all can't even, some of y'all been in the Marine Corps for 2.5 seconds, can't even remember, you know, I don't remember them, probably because it was 2nd Battalion and they weren't there. But I'm just, anyways, I'm so sorry, guys. But, you know, and what did he say, though? Be proud of yourself in the uniform that you wear. You know?
Sure did.
Like, and I took that to heart. And I just remember walking around like, this is kind of a trip. I'm like really doing it.
Yeah, that was my same thought process, too. So you touched a little bit on leaders. So what do you think, why do you think leaders misunderstand I'm using leaders kind of loosely here. I can't find a better word for it.
Yeah.
But they are, I guess they consider themselves leaders or maybe
Well,
managers.
you know why you can't? I'm gonna tell you why. Because you're just like me. We associate leadership with good qualities. Everybody's a leader. You might be leading them somewhere bad, though.
Indeed. Indeed. But why do you think they misunderstand the leadership role?
What do you mean?
I mean, in the sense of there's a difference, right? There's a difference from being a manager and being a leader. There's a difference between your rank and leadership. There's a difference between your position and being a leader. Where do we go wrong? What are we misunderstanding?
They don't care
in your
enough.
opinion.
They don't care enough. They don't care enough. They don't care enough about that person across from them. They don't. Why should they?
Right.
Who's making them?
You think they should be made, or you think that should just be naturally in them?
I think it should be natural, but you know, for those that it's not, I mean, you know, but that's what I think it is. I do not think people like that care enough.
Right.
I mean, think about what you're doing. You have young people's lives in your hand.
Yes, sir.
And what I used to tell my subordinate level leaders, hey, big dog, you're 30 years old. How about some expectation management? You expecting this guy over here to like have the same priorities as you? He's 10, 15, however much younger. He's 20 years old. He's 18 years old. Right? But yet you think you just and that's what it is. They don't. You got to be careful when you're talking to leaders because, you know, at the end of the day, just because they're not doing what you think they should be, which is probably always going to be the case, by the way, you probably shouldn't tell them they're not doing their job, because a lot of them are freaking breaking their backs, trying to accomplish the mission, right? So you got to find a way to relay the message, like let's put some focus on this as well, kind of thing, right? But I mean, it needs to be something that's very strategic. You got to care about your people, man. Some people just aren't going to do it, and that's the unfortunate reality of it, right?
in your business, sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're fine.
in your business, your training business, which you got, your motivational business, is your clientele majority former military, or do you have like civilians with no military experience?
Mostly civilians with no military experience.
Is it a challenge, or what's the difference in being a leader and mentor for civilians with they don't understand the jargon or the mindset? Like has that been a challenge for you?
No.
And if it hasn't, what's the
To
difference?
be honest, I always said I only have enough energy to be one person, and that's myself.
Indeed.
And it got me a lot of friends. It got me some enemies,
Right.
you know? Um, because, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not Sergeant Major that I have three-piece suits, but you know what? I wear cut-off khakis.
Mm-hmm.
I wear button-up flannels.
Right.
A lot of guys don't like that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. That's all right with me. You don't have to like it.
Right.
I have my allegiances to myself,
Mm-hmm.
to my family, to people that are still I keep in my circle and everything else like that.
Why do you think that's a problem for them? That you are who you are. Like, why do you think that's a problem for some of it?
It's the same reason people got mad when I started my social media. I had sergeants majors like, why do you want Marines to know what kind of music you listen to? And I'm like, it's not that I want them to know. It's just that's just who I am. That's just what I listen to.
Right.
You know, and it's almost like kind of like being a drill instructor, right? There's a lot of Marines that they're going to have that mentality. You got to keep that mystique,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't want you to like really know who I am,
Right. Right.
and I've just never been that way.
Right.
Just me personally.
Right.
I want to be approachable.
Right.
You know,
I think being a drill instructor is different. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I have my opinions about when you sign up for that duty and you go on that duty
yeah. I
and
don't think
social
recruits should know
media,
who you are.
they should not mix, right?
I agree.
But uh
Recruits should not be like, wow, you like four wheelers.
right, because we're a private fraternity. We're a fraternity, and I remember
Yeah,
people coming home, and I was a pool lead, people coming home from boot camp, and they wouldn't answer not one question.
yeah,
EFCs, they wouldn't answer not one question about boot camp. They would just be like, you just scream and move fast
yeah,
and take care of your stuff because recruits are still your stuff. And that was it.
yeah,
It was like secret.
yeah.
And you get there and it's, you know,
And now it's wide open.
now everybody, and I don't like being the one to judge. Everybody wants to be out there, and that's a part of the new generation. But
Hmm.
I think as I have my ideas as officers and senior enlisted as far as being on social media. I think there is a line of too much, but I do think you being you on your social media is not a problem.
Yeah,
And the reason being is because people forget that we are in the business of people.
yeah,
As a sergeant major, if you have your rifle in hand and you're kicking in the door, there's a problem. We're in a, you know what I'm saying? But your
well,
job
I'll be honest
your
with you.
job is to influence the little guys that are gonna be kicking in the door,
Yeah,
right? So that's the business of people. How do just like we talked about earlier on the phone, like
yeah,
how do I influence my subordinates enough to perform without me doing weird stuff?
yeah,
With me just being me.
yeah,
If I can't inspire you by me just being me, then that is a problem.
yeah.
If I have to put up a facade, that's not what the business is about. We got to
True.
go win battles, right? Being a drill instructor, you spending 12 weeks with these guys on this one team in this
Yeah,
one small duty hut. Why would it be 12 weeks of drama? So why would it be a
yeah,
year of drama if I'm winning battles because I have to put on this facade?
yeah.
I shouldn't. When I walk through the door, me being me, who I am, should inspire my subordinates to want to keep going in their own lives. And if you
100%.
can't do that, then that's a problem, right? And I think it's a I have a vast amount of opinions, but
I mean, to be clear, I don't think I used my social media the way I should have every time, for
right,
sure.
right,
You know, but I'm also human.
hmm
You know, um, uh, I kind of cringe every time I say nobody's perfect, right? Because
Right.
my thing with that statement is every time we say nobody's perfect, who we talking about? Ourselves.
Right.
Every time we say actions speak louder than words, who we talking about? Everybody other than ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all have that in us and stuff, but at the same time, I'm not gonna pull any punches. I know that I made mistakes. Um, I would have done the same thing 10 out of 10 times for the simple fact that I made the best decision I could with the information I had at the time with pure intentions at heart every single time.
I think that's what matters the most.
Yeah, I don't want to go back and like second guess myself.
Right.
Can I look back now and But again, I'm not gonna like armchair quarterback myself. Those were decisions that I made. I stand by those. Um, I think social media is great because think about yourself, right? Anytime you have a question, are you going to go to somebody in your chain of command for something really vulnerable? No, you're not. No, because why? Those guys evaluate you.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people to your left and right. You got rumors, you got people saying stuff when you ain't there, right? Whether it's
Judgment,
like
unnecessary judgment, and
not that it has to be like drama, but at the same time, people just talk.
right.
Right? That's what we do. Okay. But if you have a real question, who are you going to go to? Someone outside of your chain of command that's not there, that you trust, that's
Mentors.
available.
Right.
I can't tell you how many. That's why people go, why can't you let it go? Why do you still post military content? I get hundreds of messages every day
Right.
about real issues across the board, across the Marine Corps. That's why.
A mentor is a mentor, no matter how you cut it and slice it.
Yeah.
There are a plethora of active duty service members right now that they're mentors, that they have mentors that are retired.
Well, think about
You
social media.
you can't say why you start
Yeah.
talking about the Corps when we're reading books from retired generals.
Yeah.
So why are we reading their books? Hypocrite.
I'm with you, Hunter.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you. I'm with
Why?
you 100%.
Why?
People always trying to tell me how to live my life, and I'm like, over here, like imagine this is like a little circle. Okay, just a bit. Over here is your business. In this circle is my business. Okay? Okay, you stay in your circle
Right.
and I stay in mine. And I live my life the way I want to live it, and you live yours the
Indeed.
way that you want to live it.
Indeed.
The good thing about social media and things like that, as much negativity comes from it, obviously, it's on demand. It's mentorship on demand.
Right.
I have had master sergeants, officers even, come to me and say, I have learned more from your social media than I have in a, 15 to 20-year career in the military.
Mhm.
That's motivating and also sad at the same time.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff out there. The power of the internet and social media, like I said, it's mentorship, it's education on demand.
Mhm.
Okay, but you can make a million motivational videos at the same time. I always tell people like this: we don't have an education problem in our society. We
Right.
don't need another book. We don't need another podcast. We don't need another self-help anything.
Mhm.
We don't have an education problem. We have an application problem.
Mhm.
If people would just apply
Mhm.
what they know. I get weird freaking questions about fitness every freaking day. It's like, dude, do two things good: fitness, work out, and eat right.
Mhm.
Don't overcomplicate it, man. Just like I was telling you at the gym, I push myself to that level. You go to the gym outside of a Marine Corps base,
Mhm.
please. Go to the gym. I want you to find me at least one other person who looks like they're ready to die because they're pushing themselves so hard. I bet you can't find them.
Mhm.
And if you do, they're going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Right.
We don't even want to be good at being us.
Mhm.
We don't want to push ourselves. It's too uncomfortable. God, give me strength. But then God puts us in positions where we got to be strong. And what do? God, take it away, please.
Yep.
And God's like, make up your mind, Barry.
Mhm.
You just prayed for strength. I gave you a situation. You got to be strong.
Mhm. It's not going to be the ideal situation that you want to be in. It's going you ask for something,
I mean,
you shall
brother,
receive.
hey, I am guilty of wanting smooth sailing only in my life.
Indeed.
Guilty as charged.
Mhm.
That's not real. That's not how we grow. You know, and we don't get the answers to everything. We don't get the script. We don't get the blueprint to everything that we're supposed to do, because then we wouldn't grow. You wouldn't do that for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
They got to learn for themselves. They got to go to school. They got to go out in life. They got to get jobs. They have to fail. They have to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, sir. You said we don't. You just said. Did you say we don't want to be good at being ourselves? I, that was deep. That's deep. We don't
Oh
want
man.
to
Especially in the military. Take a
see,
look around. How many people are worried about everyone else?
but themselves.
He's not doing his job. She's not pulling her weight.
Right.
Okay, what are you doing, dog?
Mm-hmm.
Because you over here worried about everybody else. Are you the best you can be? I don't know. Because you're spending all this time and energy
Mm-hmm.
worrying about somebody else. I mean, maybe you are. I'm just asking.
What is the best you? What
Yeah,
does that look like for you?
yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that.
But we think life is about fairness.
Right.
They don't work as hard as me. Well, they're not you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not you.
Right.
Right? And then you go up to somebody randomly, you're like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, I'm taking it one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living life one day at a time. Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got a lot of regret from your past.
You made a good point. I found myself about 2 years ago. I found myself judging the people around me off of their work ethic, like really not liking these guys because they weren't performing the way I was performing. And then that brought so much unnecessary stress. It takes energy to be like this. It takes energy to be
Yeah.
to feel like that inside. That because that's how you feel when you're envious or mad or angry of people. Like when you have bad energy. This is exactly what I what I it appears in my brain, right? So and it did so much more than affect me at work.
Yeah.
It affect me here at home and things like that. And I had to
You
think like,
become resentful.
whoa, exactly. I'm like, whoa, that has nothing to do with you, buddy. Nothing to do with you. What you need to do is worry about you, your growth, your family, your home, your career. Their path is their path. It does not matter. You cannot get caught up in someone else's journey. So when I found myself putting that energy back into me, it became more positive. Like as well as there's probably a lot of good guys and good girls that are service members. They suck as a service member in our opinion, right? They
Mm.
probably not the best Marine to work with, but they are good people. And you being such a be not you but being in the military, you become so judgmental if there's a strict standard that those people are not living by. You become so judgmental and you become so negative towards that. I
Yeah.
found myself doing that, and when I pulled away from that, I became such a more equipped leader and just a better person and better energy to be
It's
around.
liberating and it's freeing.
Yes,
It's
sir.
hard because as a leader, we do have to care, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want people to be better versions of themselves, but to what end?
Right.
Are we, because, we do judge, we all judge. I
Right.
tell people I judge every book by its cover, every movie by its trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a trailer for a movie that sucks, I ain't watching the movie.
Right.
But when we're critical, now we're becoming resentful.
Mm-hmm.
You're weak. You're not as good of a Marine as me, right? And it's my standard, right? I've
Mm-hmm.
I've placed myself on the throne
Mm-hmm.
of whatever it is that we do,
Mm-hmm.
which is not okay. And who's it really hurt? Me.
Indeed.
It hurts the person doing it.
Because I'm
You're
like
not
this.
built. Yeah, exactly. You're not built to carry around that level of resentment. And we try to do it because we want it to be fair. Because I'm doing this. Why aren't you doing this?
Right.
We're a team, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There are places in the military, in the Marine Corps specifically, like, yeah, you're a team and like you need to operate as a team. I don't want to take away from that.
Mm-hmm.
But, what you and I are talking about is different, I believe, in that way. And it's like, yeah, man, like, you need to worry about yourself and
Mm-hmm.
how good you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you're gonna be focused on other people in that leadership teammate capacity,
Mm-hmm.
then they should be getting the message that you care.
Right.
Okay. Not that you're better than them. And I always told, my people this. It's like you're going to suffer from leadership fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership fatigue is when you want the best for everybody and they don't want it for themselves.
Right.
They don't want to get that college degree.
Right.
They don't want to get promoted.
Right.
They don't want to go to school.
Indeed.
They don't want to do more pull-ups. You want them to. You can see that potential.
Right.
You can lead that horse to the water, but you
can't
cannot
make
make
them
them drink. And as a leader, sometimes it can become really disheartening.
Sergeant Major Bull, I appreciate you for coming through. What I want you to do now for Saturday Who, just leave them with some parting words and how they can make their tomorrow better.
Today is the best day of your life. It's the only day you have. They say 80% of our thoughts are from yesterday. Let go of the regrets from yesterday. It's a closed door. You cannot go back in time. Stop trying to live more than one day at a time. Your worry, your anxiety, and your fears, you were not built or meant to carry around that level of anguish over something that hasn't even happened yet. Don't let it steal your joy. Don't let it make you not be present today, here and now. You got loved ones in your life. You got many blessings. Exchange those expectations for appreciation. If I told you to close your eyes and open them for 5 seconds and look around the room and find everything that's brown and close your eyes again. And then I said, now tell me what you saw that was red. You wouldn't be able to tell me. So when you're focused on that problem, I want you to remember that those problems need your time, they need your energy, they need your attention. Stop feeding them. Stop feeding them. Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you. Saturday Who, freaking Sergeant Major Bull, No Bull Fitness. Look him up. He's out here in the California area. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Much love.